The purpose of this summit is really to restore the trust and the functioning of international cooperation. First of all, we're very excited he's coming. I mean, obviously, India is a major voice on the world stage. One huge purpose of this summit is actually to really try to make sure that international cooperation represents and serves the people of the Global South much more effectively than it has been doing so far. India has been a huge voice in pushing for the kinds of change that this summit hopes to deliver.
Ma'am, thank you very much for speaking with ANI. My first question to you is, of course, on the Summit of the Future. If you can give us an overview and the agenda of the summit and what does it focuses on?
Sure. So the purpose of this summit is really to restore the trust and the functioning of international cooperation. So we're looking at how we work together at the global level to deliver on all the promises that we've already made, all the goals that we've already set for ourselves, but also we're looking at all of the challenges and risks and opportunities that are coming in the future and trying to make sure that the United Nations and the other major organizations of international cooperation are ready for those challenges, but also ready to harness all those opportunities for the sake of all of humanity and not just the few.
Right. Ma'am, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's also going to come and address the Summit of the Future. What will you say on that? And, you know, when it comes to India's role in addressing such an important forum, what will you say on that as well?
Well, first of all, we're very excited he's coming. I mean, obviously, India is a major voice on the world stage, a major voice of the Global South. And one huge purpose of this summit is actually to really try to make sure that international cooperation represents and serves the people of the Global South much more effectively than it has been doing so far. So whether that's on Security Council reform and looking at you know, how the Security Council functions or how the international financial architecture functions, India has been a huge voice in pushing for the kinds of change that this summit hopes to deliver. And we're very excited that the Prime Minister is coming and will be that voice.
Right. Ma'am, we are at a time when there are two ongoing conflicts, whether it's Russia, Ukraine or Israel, Gaza, and India has always called for peace and diplomacy. I think, how much do you think that this issue would feature in the summit, and what can we expect in terms of outcome?
So, I mean, I would say that there are more also ongoing conflicts, Sudan, Haiti, many other places where people are really suffering. Obviously, that's a huge subtext to this summit and to high-level week in general, that, you know, we're really, a lot of people around the world are suffering, especially from conflict, but not only from conflict. And there will be big efforts, obviously, underway to try to make sure that we discuss those conflicts and see how we can try to address them more effectively than we have been. The summit doesn't exactly focus on any specific conflict, because what the focus of the summit is to try to look at how we work together at the global level. Obviously, the fact that we're not doing a very good job at preventing conflicts or solving them or dealing with their consequences is a huge reason for having this summit, because we're looking at the Security Council, we're looking at peace operations, you know, in which India has been, you know, always a major player. We're looking at all of the toolbox and the ways that we work together, and we're saying, are they fit for the ways in which conflict has changed, the way in which conflict is going to continue to change in the future? And if not, and of course, in a sense, our answer is we don't think they are, how do we begin to adapt our way of working together at the global level so that we do live up to the Charter duties to prevent conflict, to resolve conflict, to manage conflict much more effectively?
Ma'am, last question. India is also one of the biggest contributors when it comes to UN peacekeeping missions. What will you say on that?
Correct, and that's absolutely, I think, why India is such a major, credible voice on issues of peace and security, whether that's new forms of risk in the digital domain, or our long-standing efforts to you know, deploy peacekeepers around the world, terrorism. There are many, many peace and security issues on which India is a very credible voice, and we're very much looking forward to having the Prime Minister here and hearing from him.